Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic. I'm having a look at another killer Sudoku puzzle today, but it's not just killer, there's a couple of other rules, thank goodness, because otherwise this would be very few cages. I will explain about the rules in a moment. I do want to mention there's still time to have a go at Blobs' Marvellous Indexing Puzzle Pack on Patreon, where you can enter our competition for the month and you could win the prize of a collaborative solve with Simon in a video, just like Beatrice did last month. Also on Patreon, we've got crosswords, connections, and gridogram. All sorts of videos there. Do entertain yourselves with it. Join us on Patreon. We'd love to have you along. Also, of course, there's all of our apps, which do feature Killer Sudoku and Chess Sudoku and Miracle Sudoku, all relevant to today. A couple of those I don't normally get to advertise, but there we go. And there's also Classic Sudoku 2 and the Worms, and we'd love you to use the really good value for money and get those. Now, also, of course, we're putting out all sorts of videos. So on the channel we have Friday crossword masterclasses, one of those coming up soon. We've got Monday night streaming of games. We've got Wordle in a minute every day, Minute Cryptic in a minute every day, and loads going on as always on the channel. That collaborative video that I mentioned was an extra. There was a Jane Street video last month that was an extra. So loads always happening, and it's great fun. There's also our merch. Our merch is back. We've got a proper supplier who is delivering fast, and we recommend the merch. So you'd love to see yourselves in one of these hats if you were. Or no, you'd love, if you met somebody else wearing one, you'd be impressed by them. That is the point. So anyway, think about that. But let's have a look at the rules of Secret Killer by Witchu, and we'll actually spend our time thinking about this. Normal Sudoku rules apply. So 1 to 9 will go in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. Now, cells that touch diagonally may not contain the same digit. That is one way of expressing the King's Move rule, and I'm fishing out my king from the bag of it's right at the bottom of the bag of chess pieces that I have. Mr. King in red will sit here and remind me when I forget that rule. It means that these two cells can't contain the same digit. I mean, the formal statement of the rule is no digit within a King's Move can be identical. And finally, and importantly, there's a non-consecutive rule. So orthogonally adjacent cells, cells that share an edge, may not contain consecutive digits. And that means that these two, for instance, couldn't be a 3-4 pair. We get one given digit in the puzzle, which is a 4. We get 5 cages and nothing else. It's a very clever construction. Witchu has been on the channel once before, a year and a half ago, and is back. Let's see how we get on. It's probably Witchu. Witchu. I don't know how to pronounce it. Let's get cracking. So, all of these cages look to me like they're 8 cells big. I was going to say yay big, which would mean nothing. But they are. They're all 8 cells big, and they've all got a 42. And we know a secret about the digits 1 to 9. We know what they add up to. It's not really a secret. It's basic arithmetic. They add up to 45. And therefore, since digits can't repeat in a cage, there are 8 different digits in these cages. And the digit that must not appear in them is the digit that you get by subtracting 42 from 45. And that means 3 doesn't appear in the cages. And therefore, what can we do with that information? Oh, we can place 3 in this box, in box 6. Then we know that 3 is in one of these cells. Then we know that 3, I'm just avoiding cages, that's all I'm doing. 3 is in one of these cells. Now these are ruled out and we can put 3 there. One of these 2 is a 3. One of these 3 is a 3, and obviously this box we have no cage information. This box, this row, it can only be in one of those 2 cells, and it can't be that one because of the 3 that appears in those cells. So we can place a 3 there as well. Now, one of those 2 is a 3, one of these 3 cells is a 3, but I can't really pencil mark that. So that's the information that we get from these 42 cages. There's not a lot else, except if we're going to start colouring the digits. I think maybe we are. Oh, well, no, hang on. We've got the king's move and the non-consecutive. There is quite a lot of information. Right, where is 3 in this box? And it's suddenly very obvious. It can't be there, and it can't be here next to the 4. It's there. So then one of these is a 3. And this is a 3 down at the bottom. And that'll do for now. But where does 4 go in this box? Obviously not in those positions because of this, but also not in these because of the non-consecutive rule. So 4 has to be in one of those, and then one of these. Now it's in this cage, hasn't got into this one yet. It can't be, well, it's also in this cage, and it's not in those cells, and it's not sitting next to a 3. So 4 in this cage is in one of those 4. 4 in this cage is not in those cells, not in this one, and not next to the 3. So it's in one of those 3 places. 4 in this cage, now we are talking. I was going to say it's in one of those 2, because it mustn't be next to the 3, and it must be in the cage. Obviously not those cells, because of this 4. But we can't put it there next to the 3. I was actually going to do an X-wing explanation of that. Don't need to do that. It's just non-consecutive. That must be the 4. This can't be a 4 because it's next to a 3 now as well. So that's a 4, that's a 4. We're in business with 4s. All of these have been ruled out. We're not allowed the king's move connections, so we get 4 out of one possible cell there. 4 must be in this cage. Oh no, it must be in this row, not there by king's move. So it's in one of those 2. 4 is in one of these 3, but it's already been in this cage, so it's not there. By king's move, it can't be there. So it goes here, and that fixes 4 up here. And that gives us a 4 in one of these cells. And we're going to bear in mind that it can't be next to a 3, but I don't know quite how we're going to bear that in mind yet. That's kind of it for 4s. But now, can we move on to 5s maybe? Because there's got to be a 5 in this cage, and yet it cannot be orthogonally adjacent to a 4. So those cells are ruled out, and those 2. So the 5 in this cage is in one of those 2 places. And that does rule out 5 from a number of cells in both, well, in this box, fairly pointlessly out of those cells. But in this box, 5 can't be in any of those, or it couldn't be in either of these places. So 5's ruled out of those. By the non-consecutive rule, it's ruled out of those. So the 5 in this box has to be in one of these 3. That's not quite as helpful as I was hoping. I'm worried that the pencil mark here will confuse me, but I'm going to leave it for the time being. I'm going to think about 2s instead. Because this cage needs a 2. And it mustn't sit next to a 3. So there are quite a number of cells. All of these are ruled out. So 2 now has to be in one of those 2. Then the 2 in this box can't be in that row because of the position of 2 in one of those cells. Can't be in this cage, so it must be up here, not touching the 3. And then there's a 2 in this row, which is a little unconstrained. There does obviously have to be a 2 in this cage, and now it can't be in these cells. But 2 is less constrained by 3 than would be useful. So I don't know. I'm going to write 2 as being in one of those 3 without having the wherewithal to kind of shut that down more. Okay, and I'd forgotten the king's move again. Is that relevant? No, not yet with 2s. Okay, should I go back to thinking about 5s? As the next progression, or or not? I don't know. I mean, it didn't go very far when I thought about 5s before, but maybe I wasn't getting to the nub of the matter. 5s. Like, there's a lot of places that 5s can't be in the puzzle. Okay, I tell you what I'm going to do, and you may regard this as cheating. I'm going to colour the cells that 5 can't be in, because it would be next to 4. And that's going to include this pair, because if you put 5 in one of them, it would be next to the 4 that has to be in one of them, and this cell. So all of those cells can't be a 5, and obviously the 4s that we have and the 3s that we have can't be. So now, are we finding a 5 anywhere in this puzzle as a result? Probably not. Is there a cage that's struggling to get a 5, or not really? It was just this one where we did say 5 was in one of those 2 cells. If 5 was there, one of these 2 would have to be a 5 in that cage. Oh, this one can't be a 5. I didn't note that. Might make a difference. Almost might make a difference. But it doesn't. This cage needs a 5. This cage needs a 5. I can't quite get my finger on. This column needs a 5, and this cage needs a 5. I don't know. I think that was a worthwhile exercise, but it didn't get very far. And there's just, well, my original plan was maybe colour the whole grid, but like find a digit that appears somewhere. Okay, let's do it with this cell. Let's make that pink, because now I know that doesn't go here by Sudoku. It doesn't go here because that's the same cage. So it goes in one of these 3, and then in column 2 it must go down here, but it can't go in the same cage. So that pink will end up here. I mean, is that any use? It's got to be in this cage because it's not 3. And that cell sees all of these. Ooh, that is, so I've picked a good one. Now it's got to be in this cage somewhere, and it's not in those rows. So it's got to be one of these, the pink cell. That's dangerous markings, because I would just forget that they aren't confined to a cell. Now pink can't be here or here. It also couldn't be here because that would rule it out of all of these 3 cells. I don't know. It didn't really get any further, did it? And I mean, it didn't teach us anything about pink. I'll tell you what, it can't be 1, because it would be next to a 2 in one of those positions if it was in both of those cells. So it couldn't be 1, 2, 3, or 4. But this is not the way to do it. I think the original way is to find a digit that is consecutive with 3 or 4 and do a bit more with it. That's what we need to be doing. So let's go back to 2s. I will now do the process of highlighting all the cells that can't be 2 in the puzzle, and then seeing if that confines 2s. Well, we've already done it for rows 1, 2, and 3. We have marked these in the grid. Now look, that is interesting. In this box, it confines 2 to one of those cells, which I hadn't expected. So that keeps 2 out of there. In column 2, column 8, 2 is in one of those. And now this is a definite 2. Now, by the king's move, 2 can't be in either of these cells because it would touch that by king's move. And it can't be there because of the 3. So 2 is going to be in one of these cells. Oh, it can't be here either, because that would see whichever of these turns out to be a 2. So 2 must be now in one of these 3 cells, and now we've placed it in box 2, which is a surprise. And then it's in one of these 3. And now between the 2 here and the 2 here, we're going to have accounted for the 2 in 2 of our cages. Interesting, but not ultimately vitally helpful. Got us a digit. And these placements of 2, which are, okay, this one is interesting because it keeps a 1 out of these cells. Every cage, just like every digit apart from 3, every cage has every digit in, including 1. 1 can't be in those cells or it would be touching a 2, and it can't be there because it would be touching a 2. So 1 in this cage is in one of these cells. And then I was hoping to say 1 in this column is confined, but I haven't really got that. No, I don't know quite how to bring that forward. I suppose the 1 in column 7 is going to be in one of these 2 cages. Yeah, this is slightly interesting. So there's no 1 here. The 1 in this box is either in this cage down here or there. I don't know. I feel like these 5 columns. Right, in these 5 columns, 4 of the 1s are going to be in these 4 cages. Isn't that right? Yeah, that is right. That's where the 1s must be, in those cages. And therefore, outside the cages in these 5 columns, which leaves us with these cells, there can only be there is a single 1. It's not here next to a 2, and it's not here next to a 2. So that single 1, all on its own, is either in this cell or one of these. Well, it's not there because pink can't be a 1. So it's either in one of those cells or there. Now, if it's here, then one of these 2 will be a 1 because this cage will need a 1. But if it's down here, one of these 2 will be a 1. That's not actually doing anything. That's just such an oddity. There is a 1. There is exactly 1 in one of these 3 places, one of these 4 cells. Yeah, I don't know where. This is a tricky old sort of miracle style puzzle, isn't it? Right. Is it 5? Should I have noticed more when I highlighted all the cells that couldn't be 5? Feels like a big ask, if I'm honest. Or, right, here's another thought. The cell that's down here along with 2, let's make it yellow. So these are 2 and yellow. I don't know what that is, but I know it's not 1, 2, 3, or 4, the yellow digit. It can't reappear in this cage. And it's not there. So it's in one of these cells, which are now 2 yellow and pink. And it's in one of these cells, which means it's here. So that's quite interesting for yellow. And now these are 2 yellow and pink. And these are 2 yellow and pink. And we have roping. And that means that these 3 cells are these 3 and these 3. And that means, for instance, that if you take these 3, where do they go in box 9? Well, they have to go there, and then they have to go here in box 3. And then these will be the same, these will be the same, these will be the same. Now, don't suppose that solves the problem of 1. No, it doesn't. It is a bit interesting, though. Yellow has to go into this cage, because it's not 3. And it's not 4, so it definitely goes in one of those 2 cells in the cage. Then it's in one of these 2 cells. It could be 5 if it was there at the moment. It is 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, just as pink is. We don't yet know that they can't be consecutive. Oh, this is getting weirder and weirder. There are already a few places in this box where yellow can't go. And I would cite all of these cells. Goodness. Now, the yellow down here will not... We've had 1 yellow in each of these cages. These 2... Oh, this is just a bit interesting about these cages. Right. I'm going to do a sort of little bit of set theory, or maybe law of leftovers. These 3 columns contain 3 sets of the digits 1 to 9 by rule. But so do these 2 cages. So if we eliminate those, these two cages don't contain a set of the digits 1 to 9. They contain a set lacking a 3. So if you add a 3 in, that's one set of 1 to 9. That's another set. And that means this is a group of the digits 1 to 9. Because these 3 columns must all have contained 3 sets, and those 2 9 by 9s, or not near 3 by 3 boxes below contain 2 sets. So this is one set, but this is also one set. So these 3 digits are now the same as these 3. We might get more roping. That's not relevant. It doesn't really matter. These 3 digits are the same as these 3, is the learning from that. And these 9, right, this digit has to appear in this cage, and it can't appear again in this 3 by 3 area. So that digit has to appear there. And I'm going to call it green now. It's not 1, 2, 3, or 4. And it's also in these cells. I'm not saying it's not 5 yet, but it would have to be there. Oh no, none of these can be 5 because they're all touching a 4. So I am now saying it's not 5 green. It is 6, 7, 8, or 9. Oh, this is intriguing. It is quite complicated to figure this out. Now, green here is not in that roping group. It's in this roping group, isn't it? We roped these, and it's one of those cells. So green is not in one of these 2, but it still has to get into this cage, and it has to do it into one of those 2 cells now. And then it's in one of these 3. And things are getting strange. So this 3 that ropes consists of this digit, 3, and something else which could be a 1. Yeah, that was an interesting little group. Now, these 3 also appear here, and here, we've learned. Now, what else do we learn about those digits? They include 4, obviously. I don't know. Okay, I'm moving on to this digit, which is not in the cage in this box. Do I know that it's not 1? I don't know. It doesn't matter. I do know that it's not 2, 3, or 4 in this box. So it has to go into this cage because it's not 3. And it's not pink and it's not green. It must be, it can't be in those in the same box. It can't be there. It must be in one of these along with yellow. So these are grey and yellow, transplanted there, and now they're here as well. And if I could say that grey couldn't be 5, I can, because it's sitting next to 4. Then I can say, no, I can't say anything. Yellow could be 5, and then it would have to be here and here. Okay, but the colouring is happening now. Grey is in this set along with these roping set along with green. So grey is in one of those 2 cells and one of these 2. And I'm going to colour these 2 as well. Let's go with orange and dark blue. And this roping set of 4 orange, dark blue is appearing here. But now we've got the king's move saying that this can't be dark blue. So that's definitely orange. This is definitely dark blue. But then they appear here, and I don't know which one is orange, blue, and which one is 4 down here. But I do know, what do I know? I was going to say, I do know that orange and grey aren't 5 because they're sitting next to 4. So 5 is either blue, yellow, or pink. Are any of those? Yes, blue is ruled out here. So 5 is yellow or pink, and this is in a roping set. So it's in one of these 3, but it can't be next to 4, so it's in one of those 2. And it's in one of these 3, but it can't be next to 4, so it's in one of those 2. 5 is yellow or pink. If that's 5, it's obviously yellow. If 5's pink, that's 5. There must be something that I can suddenly snap into. But I mean, this is a good way of proceeding. I'm not unhappy with this. This row has one more colour to go in it, and it's blue. It's dark blue. So where's dark blue in the top row? Remember the king's move, it's not there. It's in one of these 2 cells. Dark blue is not 5 here. Well, we knew that somewhere. That was here, we knew that. Okay. 5 is either yellow or pink. Right, we've still got a 1 to place in one of these cells. It can't be green. 1 is because of that being next to 2. So 1 is either blue, orange, or grey. Yeah, I'm none the wiser down here. But then after that 1, all of these other digits are from 6, 7, 8, 9. Now this can't be a consecutive pair. Green and grey, because they're touching here. Blue and orange can't be a consecutive pair. How can I use that information? I'm not sure. This puzzle goes quite deep, doesn't it? Now, blue in this cage is not in those cells. And the same is true about pink, actually. Blue and pink must be in these cells. Is there any way I can use that? It seems very unlikely. I guess this one can't be blue. So blue is either here or here. We already knew blue couldn't be 5. That would have told us in case we didn't know. Can I say that yellow and pink can't be consecutive? They appear both in this group. If they were consecutive, they'd have to be in these cells, and that would have to be a 2. They appear in this group. To be consecutive, they'd have to be in these cells, and that would be a 2. This would then be 6. Ah, that's interesting. That wouldn't work. Neither yellow or pink can be a 6 because they'd have to be in these cells. The 6 couldn't be in that pair along with 5. It would have to be here. And the 6 couldn't be in this pair along with 5. It would have to be here. And then it would be touching itself by king's move. So 6 is not yellow or pink. I don't know how to pencil mark that. I suppose we are now selecting from 5, 7, 8, 9. That's how to pencil mark that, which is a bit convoluted, but I'll do it. That's down here as well, where this one can't be a 5. Oh, that can't be a 2, and I've already noted that can't be 2, and that can't be a 5. Right. This hasn't really advanced the sum of human understanding at all. Now, 1 is one of these. It's either grey, orange, or blue. So in row 2, it's either there, or in one of these cells. I don't know, I can't do anything with that. I don't think I can. Right, I am going back to another former policy of highlighting everything that can't be 5s. So I'm doing little pluses around the 4s, and then I'll pick up with other digits that we've got. This little pair that includes a 4, that pair that includes a 4. Right, 5s are either yellow or pink, so that rules out quite a few other cells. This one. 5s are either yellow or pink. That is ruled out. Yeah, I mean, there is something interesting about this. I've only got one cell in row 4 that can be a 5 according to this work. And that is here. That's a 5. And then one of these two in this box has to be a 5. Because again, these are next to 4. Yeah, that's fair enough. Then one of these two is a 5 in whatever row we're in now, row 6. Now, let's get 5 out of those cells. Now blue can't be 6. And orange can't be 6 because of that and that. So 6 is in one of these two. It is grey or green. Well, this pair includes a 6. and this pair includes a 6. And, well, I was going to say, and now 7 can't be in grey and green because they touch here, but that's less powerful. The 6 in this row is either there or in one of these two. If that digit was a 5, this would have to be the 6. And these digits are either both from 7, 8, 9, but they're touching each other, so they'd have to be a 7, 9 pair, or they include a 1. If they were a 7, 9 pair, this would be 2, 8, this would be 1, 6. Is that digit the same as this one? Is that something to do with these groups of... No, I don't know that for sure. I'm tempted by it. No, I don't know that for sure. It might be worth thinking about later, at least. That's something else that I could think about. I feel like I've been just stretching. Oh, look, this is orange. That's obvious, isn't it? That's the only cell left to go in this box. So one of these is pink. Let's do this as well. One of these is orange. And what are the other colours? No, the others are numbers. So these are 2 green and orange. These are 3 pink and blue. And we've got roping again, which was probably very obvious. In fact, I may even have mentioned it. Now, can grey be 6? Because then yellow couldn't be 5, so pink would be 5. So if grey was 6 and pink was 5, is there anywhere that's impossible? Here, we've nearly got pink touching grey. So pink 5 would be there, grey 6 would have to be here. This wouldn't be 5. Grey 6 would be in one of those cells. I've just noticed a new thing. If this was orange, how does orange get into this region, this cage? It would have to go there. Ah, this digit cannot be a 5. I marked 5 in this row as being in one of those two cells, but this digit cannot be a 5 because it would keep 5 out of this cage. So there's only one place left for 5 in row 5, and we've found it, and now that's not a 5. So neither yellow or grey are a 5 in this cage. That's genuine. So this digit is not a 5, and we found 5, it's pink. And that's pink. And these aren't, and that is 5 in pink down here. And these don't have a 5 in. Right, and 5 can go in that cell. Now, 5 has to be in one of these two. This is a 3-5 pair, which involves pink and not blue, because blue is not 3 or 5. So this cell is blue, and is whatever blue is. Sorry, that's a fatuous thing to say. I was going to go, where does 3 go in this cage? It doesn't go in the cage. It's not in the cage. The cage, these 3 cells of the cage are going to be coloured orange, green, and 2, which is not a colour. So this digit is going to be the same as that, whatever it is. Now that we know pink is 5, we know that orange is not 6. We knew that already. Grey or green is 6. Okay. Do we know anything else? We know this digit isn't 6. Oh, if we knew that one of those, if we knew that grey was 6, we'd be placing it here. Got a 4 down there. We've got a 6 in one of these cells, grey or green. Oh, it's not here next to that 5. So I don't know what colour it is, but it sits here in this box. That's kind of interesting. Six in the top row is in one of those cells. I mean, I wish this 6 was a bit more interesting, if I'm honest. Now, this digit can't be 7, because those two would be sitting together here. So that's not a 7. Six in this box, that 6 was ruling it out of there. It can't sit next to the 5, so it's in one of those two. I don't know if it's green or grey from that, but still, it can't be in those cells. It is either green or grey, so it can't be here. So 6 in this box is now in one of those 3. Either grey here or green in one of these. 6 in this box can't be next to the 5. And it is grey or green, so it must now be in that column. That is quite interesting. That's a good finding, because now these can't be 6 in this cage, and yet the cage needs a 6 and it has to be here. Excellent. Now that's a 6. Now by king's move, it can't be 6 here. 6 is either green there or grey there. Oh, come on, 6. Do something else. One of these 3 is a 6. That's not quite so powerful. This cage needs a 6, and it's now in one of those two positions. Oh, goodness me. Right. I didn't know that that couldn't be grey, did I? I don't think so. No, I haven't done anything with grey in this box yet. Now, where does 8 go? 8 is not allowed to touch 7 or 9. I feel like this might be a very, very important question. And it might apply to any one of these boxes in which we've got quite a lot of colour. That can't be an 8, because it would be next to 7 or 9. So grey is not an 8. And that means this cell is not an 8. Grey is not 8. But yellow still could be. And green could, well, could this be an 8? That would be a 6. This would have to be a 1 to avoid being 7 or 9. Wow, I don't know. It feels very close to... Oh, this digit can't be 7. It's sitting next to 6. That's worth doing. This one can't be either. The 7 in this box has to be in one of those cells, in this cage, and therefore that digit can't be a 7. And that's green, ruled out from being a 7. I mean, it's worth doing these little bits. This can't be a 5, because it's sitting next to 6. So this is the place where 5 goes. Good pencil marking from earlier. Now, 5 in this cage has been done, so that's not a 5. This is the 5 in column 8. That's good. And there's a 5 here. We can't put it here because of the king's move. Now this digit can't be 4. Now we've got an X-wing on 4s. That's using up the 4s in rows 8 and 9. This can't be a 4. This one is. This can't be a 4 because it's next to 5, so the X-wing is resolved as well. And do we know the colour of 4? Well, we know it's not blue or orange. So they are sitting in those cells. And all the 4s are done. All the 5s, I've got to put a 5 up here, and then I can say yes to that. I think that's all the 5s. It looks like every box has got 4, 5 written in. Yes. 6s, let's just highlight. Oh, they're all over the place. One of those 2 is a 6. Now, 6 down here can't sit next to 5. So 6 is in one of those cells, and that's not helping. 6 can't be here next to 5. So it's in one of those 2. No, it's not there next to 5. So 6 is down here. What colour's 6? I don't know, green or grey, but it's going in there as well. And now it's going in here, and not there. And that is now 6, and now we know whether it's green or grey. It is grey, because that can't be green. So 6 is grey, and it's going in here and here, yes. That's all the 6s in the puzzle. I'm highlighting them, getting rid of their colour and making them grey, and then anything else that's got grey in is not grey, and that means we're getting a fix on yellow, which can't be a 7. Oh, hang on. First of all, green can't be a 7 either. Green is now 8 or 9. It's not 1. This can't be a 7, so yellow and green are an 8-9 pair, and down here we've got a 1-7 pair, but 6 can't be next to 7, so it's a 1 there and a 7 there. This is a 1-7 pair. This is a 1-7 pair. This pair is a 2 together with yellow, which is 8 or 9. The 2 can't go here next to the 1. Suddenly, this is where the non-consecutive constraint especially gets very powerful. That's yellow, so this can't be yellow. So this is yellow, and that means that the cell below it must be the 2. And this will carry on. I think we're in clover at this stage. So 1 or 7, that's an 8 or a 9, because we know that. These are a 1-7 pair. That's 1 or 7. Something, I mean, I'm probably putting something in that is absolutely obvious. Oh, we've got this cage to think about. Yellow can't be next to green here, because that would be 8 touching 9. So that's not green. So green is now in one of these cells. And that is going to have to be here, from what I remember. Okay, down here. Green can't be there. So this is green, and that's not 3. Green is 8 or 9. This seems to have to be green in box 5. So green's now in one of those 2 cells and one of these 2. That's an X-wing on green, and that's not green, this is. I was going to say, that's not a 6. What do we have here? We have a 1 or a 7, the orange 1 or 7. And then we have 2 and 8 or 9. Okay, what about this row? We've got the orange 1 or 7 and a 2. I can't decide on those. How about this column? We've got yellow 8 or 9. Can't go here because that would be an 8-9 pair. So yellow 8 or 9 must go here. This is now a definite 2. And this digit is 3, I suppose. Now we can't put 3 there by King's move. Mr. King is still doing his job, so it goes there. Then it can't be in these cells, and it's there. And that's probably all the 3's done, looks like it. Now, how about all the greens? No, not quite. All the yellows. We need a yellow down in one of these. Got to be here. That is yellow. Then we need a yellow in row 8. And we need a yellow in box 4, and that's all the yellows done. This can't be green because yellow can't touch green, and that's resolved our X-wing. And this digit now can't be a 2, and this can't be green. And this can't be 7, I'm going to say, because it would be touching 8 or 9. So that is 1 or 2. 7 is now in one of those 2 cells, and therefore it's in one of these, where it can only touch 9, and it's in one of these 2. Oh, this isn't getting easier. Well, I mean, it is. This is a 1-7 pair for the box, and this is a 2. And 2 can't be next to 1, so I can put 7 in there, 1 in here, and that tells me that orange is a 7. So let's convert our colouring down here. 1 is blue. Now, I did hear some different voices latterly saying, one person saying, as several have over the years, please remove your colours when they're done. But somebody else saying, you must finish off all the colours. So I don't know, I'll just make random decisions day by day rather than attempting to please all of the people all of the time. That digit is a 2, and 2s don't have a colour. Right, this is a 2. This is a 2. Have I really just got 8s and 9s left to do? And look, 7 is sitting there next to green, which can't be 8 and must be 9. And now yellows must be 8. And I think that completes the secret killer puzzle. And that took a long time, but I'm very pleased to get through it. I didn't think it was going to be that hard. It's a very clever puzzle. Plenty of colouring to do, I believe, and plenty of hard thinking. Lovely stuff from Weichu. And we will see you again on the channel tomorrow. Do join us then. It'll be an absolute pleasure to have your company. I'm going to say bye for now.